Меня зовут Андрей, я из Италии, и это все по-русски. And today I wrote a story for you, and I will read it to you. And that's the story about the only thing I know, which is about myself. So let me walk you in. I am 25 years old, and I've grown up with the world telling me that I should behave rational. They told me humans are rational animals, and I am supposed to be one of them. And I became rational. Possibly I became one of the best rational, logic, analytical, successful, rational human beings. But one day, my mind got sick, my thoughts got sick, and I got sick with them. I got sick with them because being extremely rational, I could identify myself only with my thoughts. And together, we were sick. Bipolar, manic, depressive, obsessive and compulsive, schizophrenic, and chut-chut autistic. That's what I am, or at least part of who I am. Now that you know that, if you're afraid of me, if you feel any strach, don't worry, it's completely normal. These are awful labels invented by science. I am also scared of those names. And moreover, people are scared of things they don't know. And it will be my effort today to explain a little bit about the topic, so next time you will not be scared. I'll start from my personal story. My life has been quite a tale, I can say. At the age of 8 years old, I have been diagnosed with hyperactivity attention disorder, and I've been given some vitamins and candies on a daily basis. At the age of 12, I decided I wanted to become the Pope, and I started praying day and night. Then lately I found a girlfriend, and she told me that the church is not that fun overall. And in my teens, I started diversify. I have been a professional rugby player, I became an ultralight pilot, and I was also my high school theater director. Later though, things got a little bit too much diversified. I've been an economics and mathematics graduate in Bocconi University in Milan, a successful music producer. I won the elections in my country, and I am still deputy there. So they say. I managed a huge travel company, and I've also been a TV host and producer on main national TV with millions of viewers. I had $500,000 startup as entrepreneur. I got the airplane license, I got the boat license, and I got the paraglide license, and then I melt the airplane and the boat together, and I got the seaplane license. And last year I graduated a second time, while lately I've also been working in private equity, and I've been also working as a half-naked Borat DJ. Who am I? I don't know yet. That's crazy, right? Well, that's the same thing my doctor says. His name is Mario, and he's my psychiatrist. To me, I was just trying to rationally design an amazing rational plan for a life where I could be good at everything and I could everything I wanted. The logic variables to maximize in my life function were time management, resource allocation, network selection, scope broadening, comfort zone, technology, economy, work, wealth, and so on. I was planning myself to become a super rational hero, but doing so, I was living always for what was coming next. I was behaving more or less like the donkey and his beloved carrots. I'm sure you know the story. Well, guess what? I could never reach the carrot. And something happened in between me and the carrot. For instance, when I was a kid, my dream was to open hospitals and fireman stations, while 10 years later, my only dream for the future was to buy a yacht, load some girl, and have some fun. Well, what the hell happened to my dreams? What the hell happened to me? I mean, I can bring girls to the hospital, but that doesn't really mean it's the same dream. What the hell happened to my dreams? Well, I guess I let other people tell me what was happiness. I started using Facebook and Instagram and all those sort of things where I could visualize amazing possible futures for myself. A future as a rich man, a future with a yacht, a future in private equity, and a future as a Borat DJ. But all futures that were not my dreams. Manic, depressive people like me are the most exposed. We have better and faster means to have desires, and we have also a certain amount of passion that gives us the possibility to achieve those desires. Too often, we realize desires which are not our own desires. And that's when my sufferance began. I was not aware anymore of who I really was, nor what I really wanted. In fact, I started suffering of serious mood and behavioral swings that my psychiatric Mario likes to define and catalog and label and identify as manic depressive condition, plus somehow, but don't ask me how, I had also some compulsive disorder, some schizophrenia, and chut-chut autism in between. As mainly bipolar though, some months I could stand parties from Monday to Monday, traveling around the world without a compass, lot of sexual freedom and tons of stimulus. I could run study and business together as drinking water, easy as drinking water. I had my agenda full from 7 to 24, and I could sleep just 3 hours per day, every day for months in a row without any consequence. But after all those moments of great energy, I got depressed. I got depressed for an entire year. Depression is something that goes inside you and kills you from the inside. You start not wanting friends, not wanting family, not wanting your job, your passions. You close yourself in your bed, and it's not sadness. I love sadness. Every time I'm sad, I'm so happy to be sad. No. Depression is emptiness, it's darkness, it's oblivion. Now that you know this, maybe you are still scared of me, but let me tell you that you should also worry about you. The World Health Organization said by 2020, 2 years from now, depression will be the most common disease on earth. Today, already 300 million people are suffering from depression. And I'm sure most of you know somebody depressed, bipolar, schizophrenic, or paranoid. All those illnesses are 50,000 shades of the same gray. The brain is gray itself. And I'm including all of you. Trust me, if you are on a bad day and you visit Mario, he will give you an awful name and he will also prescribe you some pills. Some of them are funny pills. 80% of depressed people think about killing themselves at least once. 40% of people try to do so. Many of them succeed, while I didn't succeed. Depression didn't win over me. I decided I was, I am, and I will always be stronger than anything created by me or even by my mind. I just had to make a step backwards and realize that I'm not my thoughts. I am not my rational, sick mind that keeps planning and thinking about the past and the future, thinking about how to be the best without letting me simply being myself and living in the present. Today, I want to share with you 3 things that I learned through my craziness. First thing, I need you to understand what mental conditions are. Most suffering people don't accept their condition and they hide it, making it worse, just because mental illnesses are stigmatized by all of us. Yes, you can say if you have diabetes, you can say if you break your legs, but you can't say if you are schizophrenic. You can't say if you are depressed. Well, social pressure and social stigma against mental illness is one of the main forces causing thousands of people die every year, and we and you are all responsible for them. You must understand what's going on and change your attitude towards mental conditions, so next time somebody will suffer from it, he or she will not have to hide from you. First exercise upражение for today. It is to listen and repeat after me. So all those illnesses I mentioned before, depression, bipolarism, compulsive disorder, are not illnesses. They are just conditions. Please повторят. Conditions. Repeat it after me again. Conditions. Mental conditions. Последний раз. Condition. Молодец. People suffer from those conditions just because they don't know what to do with it. Those people are passionate, gifted people that receive a special brain, not better, not worse. It's just special. And this brain doesn't fit in any existing scheme. We are not designed for the current rules of society, and that makes us suffer. For instance, society expectations kill people like me. Society expects me to be the perfect rational model, technology lover, agenda planner, linear thinker, career-oriented, logical behaving, a rich, succeeding, perfect CEO. Society did put that expectation in my mind, and when I was 25 years old and I realized I was not becoming a CEO, well, I got crazy wondering why I was not a perfect rational CEO. Now, let me name you some famous irrational people, for sure not CEOs, that have also been given the label of bipolars, depressive, and schizophrenic. Mozart, Van Gogh, Abraham Lincoln, Ben Stiller, Napoleon, Hemingway, and the list is very long. I'm sure you know them. Some of them live extraordinarily long lives that shape the world forever, while others, like my favorite artist Basquiat, commit suicide. He was 28 years old, and his best art piece has just been sold for $150 million. I have a second question for you now. Why, when Picasso and Basquiat and Van Gogh drew their paintings, we call them geniuses? And why, when I show this to my friends, or this, they tell me to go to the doctor, and once I am at Mario's, he just gives me pills instead of appreciating my art pieces? Well, mental irrational condition give us outstanding creative potentialities, but in a world that teaches us only to be rational and how to use rational intelligence, we grow up having absolutely no clue on how to use those potentialities because they don't teach us how to be irrational. So we are not understood, we are stigmatized, and no one values us. For people like me, it's like having a giant rifle. If you don't know how to use the rifle, you can harm yourself and eventually even shoot yourself. It's like having superpowers, but having no absolute clue on how to use them. If you manage to lead the superpowers, you become a superhero. And to become a superhero, you simply have to accept yourself and learn how to shoot with the rifle. In fact, acceptance of who we are is the key to salvation. Acceptance of our own identity, of our paradoxes, of our feelings, of our weaknesses, of our condition, despite all the forces playing against it, being social pressure the main one. Acceptance of our responsibilities. Depression is genetic. My body is genetic, not depression. I am the only one who put myself into the rubbish bin, and I will be the only one to walk out the rubbish bin and come back to life. Don't say it's genetic. Luck does not exist. We are the result of our daily choices. So let me make one good choice today. Today I decide to stop trying to be the best of everything, and I just try to become the best version of myself. Today I accept myself as I am, and you, society, will adapt. Who am I? Now I know it. I am all of them. End of the first message. Second message. Science is not enough to cure mental sufferance. Science is not everything. Doctors know nothing about human brain nor its functioning. That's a matter of fact. Some of them, the most intellectually honest, admit they don't know anything about the brain. I'm not saying science is useless. In fact, science is absolutely necessary to a full recovery from mental illnesses, but it's not sufficient. Science can understand and cure my body, my molecules, but can't do anything with my emotion, not with my thoughts. For instance, science defined me crazy in opposition to what they call average normal, but what is normality? Why do we even have a concept of normality? An amazing autistic girl once said, imagine if the best compliment you have ever received in your life was, you are so normal. Vi absolutna normalna. Would you like it as a compliment? I think it's the worst compliment ever. So why do we tend to associate normality with rationality? Please be rational, they say. I'll share with you one of my favorite quotes by Niels Bohr. Niels Bohr is one of the most influential physicists after Einstein. He's a bit less famous. He took part in the invention of quantum mechanics, and once his son was criticizing him and his theories, and his father told to his son, dear son, you are not thinking, you are just being logical and rational. Dear son, start thinking. The truth here is that we are not only rational, and science, by serving and growing only rational knowledge, is lacking a lot of useful information for things like mental recovery. Here is something schizophrenia and my hallucination taught me. Take it as a metaphor if it's too much. We live in three different worlds, and the tangible world is just one of them. The tangible world, rationality and science applies perfectly. But in fact, we also live in a second parallel world, independent and divided from the first world, as true and real as the tangible world, if not more, and that's our mind world. Where we live our own ideas and dreams and images, and trust me, we are the only ones to know what's happening in our own mind all the time. It's a parallel reality. And finally, we also live in a third world, as important, as real as the first two, and again, independent, and that's the emotional world. That's the place where we store our inner identity, our feelings. That is the place inside us, for instance, where we can feel and understand love. Science says love is just electricity and hormones in the body. Would you agree with that? I think there is something more than molecules and brain electricity, and that's exactly the things that happens in the emotional world. So the point I'm trying to make is that science is for sure entitled to be expert in the tangible world, but that's just 1/3 of reality. Rationality can say anything about our minds, not our feelings, and mind and feelings are the most important things to understand when it comes to mental conditions. So science is 100% right, only on 1/3 of the topic. We have to stop giving science and rationality the right of being the only real thing. Using rationality and science to understand mind or emotion is like a doctor doing a surgery with pineapples instead of scissors. It's the wrong tool. You can't make a surgery with a pineapple, and you can't understand emotion and feelings and thoughts with science. Let me close this paragraph again against science on a positive note. I love science. I'm actually subscribed here on my iPad to all major science publications, and I read science publications on a daily basis. I love and believe in science, so dear science, please stop believing only in what you can prove and stop saying the rest does not exist. There is a whole bunch of rational things for you too difficult to prove, and there is a whole bunch of true, existing, irrational things that you are never going to be able to prove because you are using the wrong tools. Your pineapples. Dear science, you are killing me every time you try to rationalize my mind and my emotions as molecules, as something measurable, because you are using the wrong tools. I love you, science, and I believe in you, even if I know that you are limited, because I respect and I accept you, science. Can you, science, also start loving, accepting, understanding, and respecting me? That would be nice. End of second message. Pa, pa, pa. This is just to get your attention back. For the last message is 10 rows, and I'm done. Sorry for the late. That's my very personal speculation on the topic. I think that this rational, sick mentality is killing all of us and is destroying the world. The brain of 100 million people is getting sick because we are killing the mind, the world inside the brain. Destroying our dreams with other people's dreams and destroying our multidimensional intelligence being only rational. So we are the sole responsible for the creation of all those millions mental illnesses. We are killing our brains with our own hands. Now, do you know what does the brain do according to most neuroscientists? That's something I read on a daily basis on Nature, Neuroscience, and other major publications. Well, neuroscientists say that the brain hallucinates, literally has, through our senses, and creates our perceived reality. It's like having a personal projector. So gets input from the 5 senses, and then it projects you, your consciousness, your reality. According to neuroscience, the world we share, the one we live, and the one we like to call the real world, is nothing more than the common hallucination and the common projection that we all share and we all agree on. The world is a giant common hallucination, and the brain is what is generating it. Now, question for you. What happens if slowly we start to destroy the projector? Well, if you break a projector while you are projecting, the projection will get worse and worse. I am not the best at logic, but if I stick to what neuroscience says, and if the brain is exactly what generates the hallucination, then it derives that by killing the brain, we are also killing reality as a consequence. And I'm speaking to all of you, suffering ones and not yet suffering ones. It's just a matter of time, and you will suffer the first symptoms. My sufferance, your sufferance, 500 million people's sufferances all together are destroying reality and the entire world. And just because being rational is cool, let me tell you that being yourself is way cooler. So accept yourself, save yourself, and save the world. Thank you.